Hi everyone, it's Jules. Welcome to Jules Reads. In this video, I'm going to do a vlog and I'm going to read a book and watch the movie and let you know my thoughts. The book is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I am already into it about halfway, more than halfway, and I'm really liking this. I will let you know I have already watched the movie many years ago and I really did like it, but I'm loving the book even more. It is sci-fi. There's some horror-ish things to it. It's kind of a slow burn. The writing is beautiful, I think, and I'm really enjoying it. The movie stars Natalie Portman, Gina Rodriguez, and I can't remember the other woman's name. I'll post their pictures here. But yeah, so I am going to get started with this. I was just watching a bird fly and let you know the book is really good. There's no names in the book. They go by their careers or their profession, which is an anthropologist, a biologist, a surveyor, and a psychologist. The biologist is the narrator, and you can tell that the narration, this might be what's happening, is that she's writing in her journal for the next person that comes on an expedition to find. So that kind of feels like what's happening is the writing. But obviously with movies versus books, you're in their head, so there's so much more to be gathered from reading the book. And it looks like Jeff Vandermeer lives in Florida, so I'm not sure if he is American, but he lives in the United States. I think that's it, and let's get started with the video. and I really loved it. I initially gave it a 4-star on Goodreads. I'm thinking I might change that to a 5. The more I think about it, and I keep thinking about it. It's bizarre. It's weird. There's not a lot of answers that are given. So if you don't like that sort of book, you probably would not like it. But if you like really good writing, yeah, the atmosphere, you can just feel the atmosphere, which is what I'm thinking is a little bit different than the movie. But I'm so curious now to watch the movie. But again, there is, I don't even know what I said in the beginning. So just to kind of recap what the book is about, there's this area called Area X, and it is in you think it's in North America. They say the continent. So I am envisioning it in North America, and it's an area that you don't know why, but people, when they go there, either don't survive or they come back. I'm looking all around me. I'm not even looking at the camera. People come back either dead, or I guess they don't come back dead. They come back and they get sick, or they do bad things, or they don't come back at all. So there's just something about this area is mysterious, and you don't learn the answer to that. And I don't know if you do in the next 2 books, which I did just learn. There's a 4th book that just came out last year, and I'll wait for the paperback. The paperback doesn't come out till later this year, 2025. So I'll wait for the paperback so that it matches the rest of them. But yeah, so there's a 4th book, which I don't know if this is correct. It might be a prequel, and I think there's some answers in it, which would be fun. But so this is the 12th expedition. It's 4 women. You do not know their names. You know their professions. They are an anthropologist, a psychologist, a surveyor, and then the biologist is the narrator, the protagonist. And I think she is writing in a journal, because she says, when you find this sort of things. And that is how it's narrated. It's kind of a slow burn, but the writing is so stunning. I did bring it with me. I didn't want to sit here. I'm in the parking lot waiting to get my nails done. Here's what they look like before. They still look really good. It's just the outgrowth. I did the dip thing for the first time. I'm going to have to put on my glasses. Let me read you the first little paragraph. It says, the tower, which was not supposed to be there, plunges into the earth in a place just before the black pine forest begins to give way to swamp, and then the reeds and wind-gnarled trees of the marsh flats. Beyond the marsh flats and the natural canals lies the ocean, and a little further down the coast, a derelict lighthouse. All of this part of the country had been abandoned for decades, for reasons that are not easy to relate. Our expedition was the first to enter Area X for more than 2 years, and much of our predecessors' equipment had rusted, their tents and sheds little more than husks. Looking out over the untroubled landscape, I do not believe any of us could yet see the threat. It is just, I really liked it. It's a sci-fi horror. The horror elements aren't so horrorish, and I think in the movie they make it a little more action-packed than the book actually is. And one of the things in the book is this, they describe it as a tunnel and a tower. So I believe what's happening is it's a tunnel into the earth with stairs going down into the earth, which is funny because I just finished reading Dungeon Carl. What's that book? And that is also a book about going into the earth. And in these stairs are writings on the wall, which is made out of like moss and natural elements. But it does have almost like it comes alive and has some things to it. The biologist does change her. Something is changing in her. I'll just say that. And her husband, it was actually on an expedition prior, and I won't say what that result was, but he was involved as well. He's very minimal part in the book. But I'm anxious to watch the movie. I'm not sure when I will do it. Sometime this weekend. It's the weekend. And getting my nails done. And yeah, we'll see what else I can get accomplished this weekend. And I will check in when I'm watching the movie and after. All right, so I'm going to recap my thoughts on the movie versus the book of Annihilation. And I do have some notes here, so I might be looking down to look at my notes. But all right, so one of the things is the husband, there's some things that are happening to him, and then things that happen in the book that don't happen in the movie, things that happen in the movie that don't happen in the book. That was a little bit confusing to me. One thing I did read is that the director took full liberties with making it his own story. So that makes sense why it is a pretty different story than the book. The book is better, in my opinion. The movie is much more action-packed, and of course there's more dialogue than backstory, or more dialogue, and there's more backstory as well in the movie of things that weren't in the book at all. One of the major things is that there's 5 women that go into Area X. In the book there's 4, and also they're given names, which makes sense for a movie to be given names, whereas in the book they only go by their occupation, the biologists, the anthropologists, etc. They also have different occupations in the movie. I can't remember what, did I write any of them down? No. Biologists remain the same. She's the main character. She is the Natalie Portman character. And let's see what else I wrote down. Oh, one major thing in here, which I don't think I want to say, but that happens, something the psychologist does to the rest of the team does not happen at all in the movie. And I thought it was a really interesting part of the book. So to not include that was a weird choice. The creatures, like you'll see this creature on the front of this. In the book, to me, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, it felt more of, yeah, you're imagining it, or it's not actually encountering it, but you know it's there. You know the presence is there, or it's present. Whereas in the movie, they encounter it, they fight it, and then there's another creature that they fight that I was like, what is happening here? It was totally different. And then there's these buildings in the movie that don't exist in the book. I'm like, where'd this shack come from? And maybe I'm not remembering correctly. I have a hard time sometimes, but I really love this book, so I do think I'm remembering it correctly. And then one of the major things in here is a tunnel or a tower. It's looked at 2 different ways, but either way, where is this in the movie? In the book, there's a tunnel, and you go down these stairs, and there's writing on the wall with nature items like moss and flowers, which part of that shows in the movie, but it's not writing. And so I was like, where is that in the movie? And then I think that's about it. Yeah, but it's a whole different vibe than this book. If you've watched the movie but never read the book, I highly recommend reading the book. And it is a sci-fi. The movie is much more violent and horrific than the book is. The book is kind of quiet. And I love the book. I'm going to continue on, like I said, in the series, but the movie is okay. Some people give it really bad reviews. Some people love it. I did feel like the scenery is not quite what I imagined, but they did a good job of making it have the greenery, the vibrancy that the book, you feel like it does have. One of the things I think that it's both speaking to is the environment, and how if nothing touches it and we don't have the air pollution, that things will thrive. And I think that is something that might be a part of the whole story. All right, so there is my Annihilation thoughts on the book versus the movie. I'm glad I did that, and I look forward to doing more videos like this in the future, and I'll catch you next time.